All right, folks, just give us another minute or two, let some of the stragglers come on in, and we can get started. I see we got a couple people here already. Can you guys just give me a quick thumbs up or down if you guys can hear me or not? Well, if you can't hear me, it's a it won't be any thumbs, but so thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Huh. Well, right, there's a delay, so I'll give it a second. Excellent. Thank you, JC. Appreciate that. Great. So we'll get started in just a second. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to kick this off and get started. So, firstly, my name is Ethan Pressberg. I am the Director of Technology Solutions at ProcessMaker. I work a lot with our OEM customers and on the partner side a lot. So, today I'm going to be showing you how we can do single sign-on in ProcessMaker. In this case, we're going to be using Google single sign-on. It's just the simplest for us to do that since at ProcessMaker we are a Google company. So it's just a lot easier for me to put that together. But I do want to show that we are actually, as some of you may or may not be aware, we are a Laravel shop, which is a very popular open source framework, if not the most popular for PHP. So we are utilizing a package for Laravel called Socialite, and this package has quite a few IDPs integrated into it by default. There's also a very active community around that where they have pretty much packages for almost every kind of social or really app that has any kind of OAuth 2 type of single sign-on, everything from Facebook to Amazon, Box, I mean even Discord. Like they're literally, if you can think of it, they probably have a single sign-on for it. So that's what we use for our single sign-on. So we're going to be using that under the covers, but just wanted for the techies in the audience to be aware that's what we're looking at. So great. So I'm gonna log into this ProcessMaker instance. I figured I may as well do something I've been meaning to do, which is set up this this instance of ours with single sign-on for Google as well. So I'm gonna log in as an administrative user, and gives me access to the entire all the modules and all of the cool stuff of ProcessMaker. This is your typical inbox as you would expect from a workflow solution that also carries a user interface. So there's just really quick, because this is not the focus, but there's the requests and tasks where the users interact. There's the designer. I like to think of it as more of like the developer side of it, because this is where you create your processes, you create your screens, your REST API data connectors, all that kind of stuff happens on this side. But today we're going to be focusing more on the administrative side, as user provisioning and things like that are more administrative. So if we take a look here so we're under admin, and on the admin you have this left menu, and if you see on the bottom here, you can pop that out. So here we have all the different administrative settings. So right now we're in the general settings section. I know it's kind of confusing, settings within settings, but we do have the settings, which has a couple different ad hoc settings. In this case, we are going to be looking at the single sign-on SSO setting. And let me just talk about this briefly. We've got so I mentioned we use Socialite, right? But we don't officially, as a product, really support the integration and like kind of put our guarantee behind it working unless it's one of these following. I believe there might be one or two that may not be in this list, but I'm fairly certain. And if Ryan, if you're watching, please keep me honest, but I'm pretty sure these are the only ones that ProcessMaker officially supports. That being said, we have as you may know, we are open source. Go to github.com/processmaker/processmaker. Feel free to fork it under the open source license it has, and you can go ahead and add any kind of Socialite provider that that you may need. Okay, so real quick, we're going to go ahead and set up Google. So what we need to do first is we need to enable the Google single sign-on. So we just click that radio button, automatically saves it for us. And as you can see, it opens up here a additional new tab for SSO-Google, which is the configuration that we're going to need to add in order to make this single sign-on work. So in order to do that, all we have to really do is create an app in the GCP console. So I got that open already here under my user. Like I said, we're a Google company, so this is pretty straightforward. And we can go ahead and, I just created this project, but just to show from start to finish, so we can create a new one. So new project, let's just call this live stream just to keep track of it. And we can go ahead and create. And now that we've gone and created, we're going to have to go and basically set up the authentication. So we go over on the left side of the three bars of the Google style of the menu. We go to API services. Then we want to go to create an OAuth consent screen. That's how we go about it. So that's odd. It already has a test thing here. So let's go ahead and edit this and kind of change some of the information. Oh wait, this is on, my bad. I have to switch to live stream. There we go. So we switched to live stream. Okay, that's what I was expecting. Okay, so user type is internal or external. In this case, we're going to use internal. And app name, so we can call this YouTube live stream. And for support email, I'm going to just put my own personal email. For browse email, for the app logo, we are going to use the ProcessMaker logo, because why not? And I have these settings already set up that I should be able to just copy paste, or I thought I did. Just 1 second, because this will make things a little bit quicker. Almost there. Sorry, I thought I had this up. And we are there. Okay, so home page. We're just going to paste that. And then privacy links. And then terms of service for this app that we're creating. And now we basically need to add the domains that we want. So in this case, we added ProcessMaker.com. It recognizes that this is under a different domain. So we're going to add ProcessMaker.com, and just to make sure things don't misfire, we'll also add the .net, since this is a .net domain. So now that we've added those are the two domains that would be able to utilize a single sign-on. So for those of you watching, if you're not a ProcessMaker employee, yeah, you won't be able to log in. And then here we can just put the developer as you would expect. So I'll just keep it simple and use my email address again. And save and continue. And now we have to add the scopes. So there's only really 3 scopes we need to add. We need to be able to get the user's email, profile, and be able to associate your personal information with Google. So now that we've selected those scopes, we can hit save and continue and review. Everything is good. User type internal, YouTube live stream, support email for the developer, all the information we added, the domains, etc., the scopes, and we're good. So we can go back to dashboard. And now we see that we have this set up. Now we come over here to the credential side, and we just need to create the credentials. So we go over here, create credentials, and we want to create an OAuth ID client. So we're going to select, one moment, I believe it's web application. Yes, web application. Client name, we can call this the YouTube live client. And then we will add, so now we have to add the authorized JavaScript origin domains. So in this case, it's going to be the domain in which we're trying to set this up for. So it's going to be this one. So I'll just paste that in. It does not end with a /, okay? Trailing slash. And then we need to add a redirect URI. So, and it's going to be this one, since ProcessMaker is already auto-generated. This is part of the feature. It generates it as SSO/Google/callback. And then we're going to paste that in here. And I think that's all we need to do. I'm going to hit create. And I should get, there we go. So my client ID, which I come in here and I'm going to edit the client ID field here. And I'm going to paste it and save. And then I'm going to copy my secret and put it in here and save. And you can see it in plain text, but we are also able to obfuscate this for security reasons. But just to make sure we know what we're looking at, I've had it set to show it. So unless there's anything that I'm forgetting, I'm pretty sure that that's all we really need to do for Google single sign-on to work. So let's go ahead and see if it does. In theory, I should get a box to log in. There we go, log in with Google. We did not see that before when we were just starting up this this live stream. So if I let's just delete this so you guys don't think we're logging in with those credentials. I hit Google. Now, one of 2 things are going to happen right now, since this is a live stream. Either it's going to know that I've never logged in with that app, I believe is going to be the case. And then it'll take me to, since I'm logged into Google, it'll take me to the consent form, or it's going to just log me in. So let's see. Yep, okay, so it does take me to, because it's a new app that I'm logging in with, to the YouTube live stream. So in this case, you know, if this was for your company or for some or whatever, you would just put your company name or your domain name, or however you as the developer would want to manage that. So I'm going to select and use my ProcessMaker account, since it's got a ProcessMaker.com domain. And if all is well, it should log me in. Yep, and it also, not only did it log me in, but it created a user for me. However, you can see that my permissions are very, very limited. I don't have anything assigned to me. I've got requests and tasks, but that's about it. So we can see that it took, how long have we been? Just a couple minutes to set this up. And now once you have it set up, you can, if I log back in as the administrative user, I can go ahead and see that user, so you can see, you don't need to log in always with Google. You can also have a hard user, so to speak. And if I go over to admin and I look at the users, there's my user, the latest user, because if you look at the IDs, So we have a question. Do you support other single sign-on providers or just Google? So yeah, so I mentioned that at the beginning. We do support others. I believe there's about roughly a dozen users. Actually, I think I made a slide on that actually. Now that I think of it, I should have come prepared, as they say. But it's never too late. So let me just kind of show this over here real quick because of the question. So this is basically the way that we handle single sign-on and authentication. So as I mentioned, we're a Laravel shop, and we're using Laravel Socialite package. And so Laravel Socialite has hundreds of different single sign-on providers. But what you're looking at the screen right now, these are the ones that our engineering team officially supports. So, if you're an enterprise customer, these are the ones that if you have an issue with, we put our guarantee that we will support and help and fix to make sure that they work. So that's Atlassian, Auth0, Facebook, GitHub, Google, Keycloak, Microsoft, and of course SAML, which is a very hits a lot of bases. Hope that answers your question, Matt. Thank you. So yeah, so we see the last ID that was incremented is the user that we just created. It's got all my information that it pulled in from Google. If we go ahead and dive into that, we can see that interesting that it took Ethan a ProcessMaker. I wonder how that happened. Huh. Um, I'll look into that later. But basically, it just. Oh no, wait. Is this the wrong user? Well, it's supposed to take all your information, as you can see here. It took my Ethan Pressburg full name, Ethan.Pressburg, because it takes the before the @ sign as your username. So that is pretty much, I mean, it's pretty simple. Really easy, really simple. I mean, I hate to say it and cut the live stream kind of short, but like, I mean, it's very easy to set this up. So yeah, any other questions that I can answer or show? Maybe I don't know, maybe play around with trying to set up another one, but I don't know. Yeah, no problem, Matt. So we're about 26, 25 minutes in, and this is pretty much the feature. And just to preempt any questions that might come up, yes, this can be interacted with via API. You can log in with the user via, well, you could log in with other users via the RESTful API and access their data and everything. So I think I got another question here. Question was, is this just open source? Are you I'm assuming you're not talking about the package and the stuff behind it, but rather the actual feature, because we do have, like I said, we have an open source version, and we also have a enterprise version. So if that's your question, then no, this is not available on the open source version. This is yeah, exactly, yes, okay. So this is this is for only enterprise, for the enterprise. I'm sorry, I'm losing my words today. This is an enterprise only feature. So if you want to be able to use it, I mean, look, you can develop any package you want at the end of the day, since, like I said, this is open source. We use Laravel. I just told you what we use for SSO. You can go ahead and do that yourself, but if you wanted it to work seamlessly and supported by ProcessMaker, then this is an enterprise only feature. I'm going to switch over to the Q&A pane because I think it looks cooler. And you get to see my face a little bit bigger. So I really need to get one of those like backdrop screens for these live streams, like a green screen. That'd be pretty cool, I think, if we can get the budget for that. Any other questions that I can answer? You're welcome, Matt. Okay, I see one more question that was sent. Do we support just-in-time user provisioning? Actually, yeah, that was something that I was going to show as well. So if we come back over here, let me switch back to the screen share. So if we come back here to the single sign-on settings, and this is for pretty much all the single sign-on settings that you'd have, you can you have a couple default options here, right? So you have the ability to um, allow people to log in, like I was showing before, where we logged in with the admin user via the non just the username and password box. But you can also disable that. I'm not going to do that right now because I'll get myself locked out. Because actually, I could if I say I'll make my user an admin, which I can do in a second. But yeah, I can show that in a second. Basically, just only allow SSO. Can't allow brute force attacks or whatever through an SSO button. And then for the question, automatic registration, select whether a single sign-on user would or should be automatically created the first time they log in. So as long as this is checked, then even if the user doesn't exist, just like my user that I logged in before didn't exist in this domain, it'll automatically go ahead and create it as long as it's part of the allowed domains. If you untick that, however, though, it will not allow you to log in. So to answer the question, yes, we do allow just-in-time user provisioning, but we do not strictly enforce it. And that was that. Is there any other questions? Meanwhile, while you guys are thinking of questions, if you have any, I will try and see if I can show that by just changing my user permissions to an admin so I don't get locked out. And so to do that, we go over here, groups, no, not groups, permissions. And while I'm on the screen, I may as well talk about it. ProcessMaker is a fully role-based access controlled system. So as you can see, there's so many different categories of things that can be permissioned in terms of creating authentication clients, database connections, comments, being able to access the files API or the notifications API, being able to access the screens and create and etc. There's so many different permissions that we allow that you can fine tune for your roles and your access control. Or you can, like what I'm doing is just, blanket super user, root access, basically. So let me go ahead and save that. And then now if I go back to the settings and check that box so that, ooh, I don't know what that happened. Let me just make sure that that got saved, because if it did not, then I do not want to do this. Permissions, yeah, okay, it did get saved. So let's go back to settings now, and then go back to SSO, and then here we can say do not allow standard login. So and this got saved successfully, which is a good thing. And allow standard login, select whether to allow standard login or only display SSO login options. So now since we have that enabled and I'm an admin user, I hope and I hope manual doesn't kill me, but I log out, and now we've got login with Google only. So you don't see even the ability to log in with a regular text box, because if you're only going to be doing SSO like most enterprise customers do, all you need is a single sign-on. So if you click this, then it should just log me in as my user, and there we go. I see I have access to the admin section now, since the changes did take. And if I come back here, I'm just gonna undo that so that the rest of my team does not want to strangle me for removing access, since I just added this. Okay, so the setting was updated. So that kind of also answers that question around just-in-time user provisioning. That's a really common one that we get a lot, particularly from our OEM customers, since that's a very common use case. So we're gonna pause here, see if there's any other questions or just give it a moment. Otherwise, I guess we could maybe just wrap up a little early, or if honestly, I don't mind riffing, kind of winging and going into other areas, even though it's not necessarily related to SSO. So if there's anybody that wants, feel free to pipe in, or otherwise we can give a little time back, I suppose. Yeah, this is a very cool feature, honestly. And when the first time I set it up myself on one of our instances, I was blown away by how easy it was. I remember I messaged the guy who runs our all of our application access and systems and stuff, and I said, can you set this up for me? He's like, why do I need to set it up for you? Just go to GCP and just do what I just did in a couple minutes. So I was blown away. I thought it was gonna be so much harder than that, but it really is that easy, guys. It really is that easy to set up single sign-on for ProcessMaker. That was with Google. The same. It's just the same exact way with every other provider that you'd want to set up. So I know that there's a really bad delay on the YouTube live stream, so that's why I'm kind of giving a couple seconds. But I'll give it another, let's say, minute here, and if I don't see any more questions or anything else in the chat, then we can go ahead and just cut it. I hope that this was useful for anybody that was watching, and for anybody that will watch in the future, because this will be on our YouTube channel. You can feel free to share this link with colleagues that may not have been able to make it, or rewatch it if you wanted to follow along on your own instance. So this will be on our public YouTube right after the live stream. Also, if anybody has any feedback on the new live stream kind of UI setup that you guys are seeing, we're still tweaking it. So if any feedback or anything, please feel free to drop a comment. Let us know if there's anything we can do to improve. Please let us know. Always looking for feedback. And I just realized that my title here is not indicative of the current live stream. This is from the previous one. I am so funny, aren't I? Let me change that. That is, how did I not notice that? There we go. And thank you for the one who pointed that out. All right, well, we're gonna, I guess, end here, and thank you everyone for attending. And like I said, I hope this was helpful. And until the next live stream, I think I don't know if it's set in stone yet, but we're trying to get a live stream going for around. I talked about Socialite package, so kind of like around package development, what we can do, and I'm hoping to have a very special guest join me for the next live stream. It's going to be a surprise, but it's definitely going to be worth it. I would definitely recommend tuning into the next one because, man, boy, are you guys in for a treat. All right. Thank you, everybody, and farewell.